It's quite surprising just to think back all the way from 8th edition when I started. You know, I was one of those guys who didn't really understand much about the culture war, the wokes and all that. Like I knew about Gamergate 1, Social Justice Warriors and all that, but I didn't really understood this whole continuation of the culture war and all that. So other than that, I just thought it was just silly back then. It was just a minor skirmish, nothing else. Who cares? You know, I could just go to work, get money, and just go home and all that. It doesn't really affect me. But then the Fumsodies arrived, and the YouTubers that I used to watch, they were just sitting their asses, and they're either trying to avoid talking about it, or will play the safe game that one mentions, like the Black Books. You made us trust you! You left us to pick up your pieces! You failed us! Even though the codexes in the Custodies have been mentioned more than once in the last 9 editions of them for the last 30 years. Now overall, I know this is stupid, but that's where it started. And from there, I started backtracking, movies, series, books, just in general, but also just like specifically in 40k. And you will notice a specific pattern. You will recognize what's going to happen. And the ones do not see that are either dismissive, don't want to look into it, or they're just lazy, or ignorant, or just outright dumb or blind. Or there's an interesting discussions that I had with people, as they not shall be named, because it's almost like exposing DMs in public and that shit is dishonorable. What's the point of a private message if it's not going to be private? Anyways, the point is, it just gave me a couple ideas that I had to look up, and I thought these were pretty interesting. So there are 3 things which I thought it was interesting and that is related to this topic. So 1, they don't hold our moral view of things. So you can be atheist, nihilistic, religion, and all that. So pretty much different backgrounds, different views. Now, second one is cognitive dissonance. I didn't know much, so I looked more into it, and it just means that... So cognitive dissonance is almost like, the way it's explained is, okay, is if there's something that they realize is either inconsistent or contrary, or something they know is wrong, then they'll try to change a couple of things to align with their thinking. Okay, here's a better example that I can think of on top of my head. When they know there's something wrong, but they still go through it anyways. Something like that, almost. And if you want the best example for this definition, is cucks. I'm not joking. And third is the desire to fit in with what they think is normal. And that's why I get 40k fans in the comments rejecting that Space Marine 2 is mediocre, or the stories is not shit, or whatever you can think of that I've been putting my finger onto the game that is not that amazing that people think it is. I might as well just call you a cuck. So I think those are the main 3 parts why, to a certain extent, people either don't realize or they just try to avoid a couple things. And especially when it comes to 40k being woke. So we're gonna go like at the very basics. So we're gonna start to break down just a little bit so we all can understand to a certain extent the same page where I'm coming from at the very least when I'm trying to describe things here. So yeah, back to class, kids. So Mr. Nellop is gonna teach you the definitions of it, since most of you motherfuckers don't understand the term. It's a woman, so it's woke. No. It's a black man, so it's woke. No. There is a diverse cast, so it's woke. No. All right. So I know some people will bring this definition where we just wake up from your bed. Oh wait, wrong one. So it's pretty much the definition where it's just to be aware of social or political issues, but mostly related to African Americans and all that. That's the idea of it when people look into these definitions. But when people say the word woke, they usually related or associate with social justice warriors. Fuck me, I'm old. So, if you don't know what social justice warriors is, here's the definition. And I think this fits perfectly of what it is today. Social justice warrior. Social justice warriors is a pejorative term, an internet meme mostly used for an individual who promotes socially progressive, left-wing, or liberal views, including environmentalism, affirmative action, gun control, single-payer healthcare, progressive taxation, feminism, abortion, gay and transgender rights, and multiculturalism. That sounds very familiar, isn't it? You know, all these push and talks about woke in other medias. Ooh, sounds very familiar. So think of this, right? So back in like 2014, when you had the memes like humongous and you had this crazy feminist and all that shit, right? But think of this as time passes by after Gamergate 1, to a certain extent, they glued this word woke and then just associated with social justice warriors. So it's kind of like social justice warriors just wearing a mask, having the label woke. And it's surprising that people don't really understand, to a certain extent, what woke is. And that's what we have as today. And when we talk about woke, we're talking about social justice warriors. They have this definition and they're pushing a specific agenda. Now, scary question now is, Ooga Booga, what does a product make it woke? Now, I'm gonna be speaking in general terms, and it's gotta be related to 40K, but I'm speaking in general, right? So the way I see things, it's about the intention they're adding it in, right? So, for example, are they adding this character for the story that would enrich the product, or is it for a political push? Some are a bit more subtle, and some that are right in front of your face. And what is the examples? Like, diverse cast, females that have to be ugly, or they just look way more masculine than they should be, or subtly masculine. I know there's been talks about, like, the Doom Dark Ages, and some people were like, well, it's a bit fine, like, I hear women. Bitch has the biggest jawline that I could ever have. God damn, can I get that jaw real quick? But let's look into, specifically, when it comes to subtle and run-in-your-face examples. Now, let's look at Space Marine 2, alright? Look who wrote the story of Space Marine 2. I want you to see this very clearly. This is your official GW Saber writer who made Space Marine 2. The one who didn't understand how Space Marines work and act, and the one who added Sarkana. Let's look at Sarkana specifically.
Oh, okay.
Ugly as fuck, the most annoying character to deal with, pushes men as she's the most dominant woman and the most important thing that it is, and it added nothing to the story, and the character just existed. Now, let's contrast that with Sarkana with Mira from Space Marine 1.
2nd Lieutenant Mira, 203rd Cadian Regiment.
Ooga Booga, women in the guard that contradicts my trilogy video. Ha ha ha! Cool. I didn't ask. So, she doesn't look bad. She contributes to the story, helping Titus, as she's the only high-ranking officer, since most high-ranking officers died in the Orc invasion, and she just tries her best to keep men in line because of the rank, and not so much that she's a strong, independent woman, blah, 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 all that shenanigans. Then again, women shouldn't be in the front lines. Now, I'm not going too deep with this, but contrasting these two differences, you can tell one was added more a little bit for the political push than what the game was made for to contribute into the story. Now, for a right up into your face example is the Femstodes.
I am here as the Emperor's voice to command you to obedience. You will do none of these things. I am asking nothing of you. I am conveying the will of the Emperor. You heard the Emperor's command, Space Marine. You will obey it. The galaxy once burned because of Space Marine pride.
So, a female added to a custodian armor with the most masculine jaw that I could ever have that has been mewing for the last 10k years. Oh my fucking goodness. And also the voice is so deep that I could ever find, and my goodness, is this a dude or a woman? The galaxy once burned because of Space Marine pride. Fuck, might as well put me in. And because of the whole female custodian things, it contradicts to a certain extent the lore with specifically the codexes, but not only that, not only the codexes, it contradicts completely with the Horus Heresy novels, even though they never mentioned a single female custodian. They have about 52 books of Horus Heresy plus another 8 or 9 books of Siege of Terra, not a single female custodian ever. So it broadens a little bit more than just codexes, but it just gives you an example that it wasn't a thing, it just shoehorned it, they just wanted to gaslight the audience because they can, and because fuck you, right? Then again, the Horus Heresy itself, it's a mess by its own thing, but hey, whatever. But then again, remember kids, 40k has no canon! Yeah! And also, like, from the Warhammers for Everyone, they've been clearly stated ever since they released that poster. If you don't like us diversifying and giving representation to the characters and models, lore, codexes, your mom's house, your dad's house, your fucking car, anywhere that we want in our IP, we can just do whatever we want. And if you don't like it, then you won't be missed. Thank you, GWN authors. Thank you. And you too, you piece of shit, you fucking cocksucker fucker, you fucking British fuck! And this is why, whenever I see more women being in 40k novels, games, models, and now animation, everywhere in 40k. And not only that happens in other IPs, and 40k fans see that from other IPs, and they're like, oh, you know what, my IP is more based than yours, so haha, get fucking L'd, you had the woke, you know that. That would never happen to 40k. You are so fucking dead wrong. And that's what happens with, like, allowing just women being in this ordinary god and ordinary, like, Eldar, whatever it is, just allowing them becomes the norm, then the exception. And people don't realize is what you allow is what you get. And that's how we got femme stories in the first place. It's like my dumbass past self, which I held responsible for to a certain extent, and 40k fans who allow this shit to begin with. And it's because of this attitude of, what's the big deal? What's the problem adding females in XYZ? I don't see the issue. Zip! This existed in 1995 XYZ book, so it's allowed for the 80% of the force to be female. And from all this excuse, it comes from this definition as an example of the boiling frog syndrome. And pretty much it just means they don't realize the problem until it's too late. My car is half of the side of the edge of the road. Oh, man, what's the big deal? Oh, the frog's in the boiling water. I don't even notice a problem. What's the big deal? They're allowing females in the front lines as a god. Oh, I see that as normal because I see that female god in, like, real life. So I don't see the big deal. And also, I like fetishes of dominant women and myself. I don't get my balls stomped. And this is why this shit is so real. People don't understand or notice until it's fucking too late or they're fucked. Alright, I'll give you the best example that ever happens is me. Right? So what happens? Started in 8th edition, didn't know much. After 6 years being into a hobby, read a couple of books, did a lot of codexes, did some models, did some painting, and all of that. I've tried almost everything when it comes to 40k. I've done parade, I've done fucking like battle ready, and also contrast paints. I've done, like, different, like, Horus Heresy books. I've done a lot of shit. This is not like, oh, here's my resume, and now you shall respect me because I have authority. No. It's just telling you that I have a bit of an experience that I know what I'm talking about. So, after the whole 6 years, Femme Studies happened, which gave up the wake-up call. Yes, I know it's silly, but whatever, we go with it. And from where we ended, I looked back from where we started, and it's evident we have changed a long time ago. So much has changed that people didn't even notice. And what's even funny is the attitude of the 40k community, especially the new ones that are coming into the hobby, are acting the same way, just like how I acted 6 years ago. What's the big deal? I read this lore one time, so it's fine, and you're wrong. Fuck you! I don't have any issue with it. You know, YouTuber does the lore for me because I'm lazy and cannot be bothered to read it myself. Well, this YouTuber said this, so he's reliable and you're not because I don't like you and fuck you! This guy is more fun than the other. This guy said he got blacklisted by GW even though there's zero evidence to prove or disprove that, and females should be in the guard and as the norm, and because the Imperium doesn't care, so we just grab any bodies just for the front line because fuck it. Blah, 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 excuses for the weak. So, in conclusion, woke in 40k is a real thing, and that I've been doing this for a very long time. And even before me, like nearly at the end of 7th edition, or even before that. I mean, like, do you want me to break down with woke YouTubers who supports the Femme Studies and more, adding gay flags to their bio on Twitter and saying some woke shit? It's infested with this shit. But people want to turn the blind eye like it never existed. I wanted to play the fence sitter, and he's excusing they want to have their escapism. Varak, you chubby fuck, do some exercise. And then again, I guess he did like some exercise after the Studies 2 trailer. So, you know, that's cool. He put some calories, but I want to see more. And you can laugh at me all you want on Twitter, but woke is a thing in 40k, and it's in novels, games, and more. They're right in your face, either whether you like it or not. And sometimes they're a bit more subtle and people just don't even realize it. And either you're an ignorant or intentionally avoiding like you have your own safe space. And this is why I am very harsh with these YouTubers. Not because I'm salty or I'm being a hater or anything like that. It is because they play as a fence sitter and being a bitch than to pick a side when the controversies come out like Femstoties. Pick a side, stand with it. They are more afraid of their subscription based like it's their bank account because if they say the wrong thing, ooh, I'm gonna lose 100,000 subscribers, oh, the horror, ooh. Then just say how it is to make yourself actually look human that you have actual opinions about. Fucking pussies. But if I say my own opinion, I'm gonna lose my YouTube friends, the fans, and subs. Bitch, fuck that. If I have to be the only man in the hill as a last stand, so be it. If I have to be the only guy who speaks out against this while these big YouTubers are scared to speak for themselves, so be it. If I have to go against a wave of fucking wokies and stupid motherfuckers that I have to deal with on a daily basis, just like in my trilogy video, so be it. They said I must answer for my crime. Repent for my sins. But every choice I've made, I would proudly make again. You will submit. I submit to no one. Not you. Not the wokies. And not that coward Lewitton. For the Horde! There is no such thing as a neutrality in the YouTube space. You either pick a side or you get run over by both of them. This is why I like people who are honest no matter if I agree or disagree with them, because they say it how it is, and they can have my greatest respect with that. When you pick your side and explain your reason and you're just being honest about it, that's where I can get my honest respect with you. Then again, I would do some tongue-in-cheek little troll comments in the bottom, but hey, that's just me. But then again, the question will be, why would they be honest since they could just keep going off what they are making and never mention a single thing? Stay positive, kids. Have fun. No politics in my chat. No wrong think. Just enjoy 40K as it is. 40K might be expensive, but they make the best models ever. And we are all happily family, are we? Ah! Ah! That was a massive jump scare as I'm recording this. Damn.
Well, aren't you a YouTuber as well, so isn't that hypocritical? And aren't you a shill as well, so isn't that hypocritical? You're just a hater, nothing more.
No. The way I see things with myself, right, to a certain extent, is I'm just a guy who enjoys 40K of what it's truly meant to be, or what I thought it was back in 8th edition. Grim dark, big scale battles, the constant war of the inevitable apocalypse, the gothic theme, and the hand-drawing art that gave the denigrating tone of a backward civilization trying to survive against all threats. And the models that reflected from the art and stories. Sure, the models look a little bit short and stubby, a little bit weird, but that was the art back then. Like, you look at this art, and then you just imagine with the models, and you're like, that is fucking cool. Sure, some models actually look better today with their better proportions and all that. But then again, what influenced the majority of things when it comes to 40K? The lore and the art. And not only that, it has some fun rules that it's provided to you, then you can play its interesting mechanics that made the game interesting as well. Now, I never got to play 3rd, 4th, 5th edition at all. That's unfortunate. But that doesn't stop me to find someone who can play with me and play an on-tabletop simulator. Or I can just get a 3D printer, make an army, boom, it's ready to go, and I can play 3rd edition, whether it's physical or digital. So that's why I don't see myself as a influencer or YouTuber, because I think that name itself is quite cringy. Oh yes, guys, I'm a YouTube influencer, yes. Let me just go to my shorts and then just do my everyday things that has no relevance at all, that I went for shopping and grabbed some oranges, But sure, if you want to call me a YouTuber, sure, fine, if it helps. And my advertisement shit? Dude, it's just there for people to be aware of it. If they like my shit and they just want to give that extra donation, then go for it. It's like me working as a barista and there's a jar of donations while I operate in a coffee shop. That's all it is. And this is why I'm not sweating that much when it comes to the advertisements, because it's not really needed. If you guys want to do that shit, you want to support that shit, go for it. Maybe I might do more. Who knows? 3D STL files, doing premium videos, members-only live streams, your mom, who fuck knows, man. But for the meantime, it just gives the customer the option where they want to donate than to be in this restricted one platform. Because I know YouTube takes about like 30%, Patreon takes about 15% if I recall, and then Ko-Fi 5? Can't recall. So there's a lot of options that people just want to give their money to. And also, every YouTuber does this, either in a generous gesture or shilling the fuck out of fans. And every YouTuber copies each other, so it's not surprising, and YouTube allows it and more. Now, to call me a hypocrite doing this where I never claimed, "Oh, I would never do this, I'm such a pious man and I would never show my channel." Wrong. Find me a video where I specifically said I would never do such advertisement because it's cringe. I know you won't. Unless you put like AI-generated fucking voice of mine in a video. Oh shit, that would be crazy. And look, a man's gonna eat, so what am I choosing? I wanna eat. So, that's my shit. You can donate it.
And give me your fucking money.
So, and before I lose my voice completely, I have a Discord, and debate me, you little fuck. I know you like to comment here and just getting like extra likes and shit, but how about you grow some balls, you little pussy, and debate me? Get into my Discord! And also, I have a YouTube's community page for you if you want to check any updates. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye, my brothers, and take care.
Rise up in the morning.